We have safely, and I mean safely, but barely, made it to a Friday. It is the 20th day of August, 2021. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. This is a live television program, and so I wear this little earpiece. It's called, you see that? It's called an IFP, and it allows the producer in the control room to talk to me over the air while I'm talking to you. And some of the things that come into this IFP is, well, there's a reason you can't hear it. We'll leave it at that. We're in for very active weather. Right now is the calm before the storm. Boy, we're going to get hammered pretty good with some much-needed rain later on this afternoon into this evening. In fact, if the isolated thunderstorms that the National Weather Service is predicting, if that actually pans out, we could even see some flash floods. There's a flash flood watch in effect. We'll talk about that more in depth when we get to the weather forecast. But get ready for some badly needed rain and much cooler temperatures. It's going to feel like autumn later on today. All night tonight is when the big rain's supposed to come, right on into Saturday before we get back to sunshine and warm temperatures Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So get ready. Things are going to get a little cattywampus from Mother Nature's perspective. We'll have the latest update on the 25-mile fire when we get to the news. They're going to get some rain and some thunderstorms. What they don't want is lightning. And as I mentioned yesterday, it doesn't look like the National Weather Service doesn't really think that these thunderstorms will be associated with any kind of lightning strikes. So that's good news. We like that. Crazy Mariner game last night. Wild Mariner game. Spoiler alert. Well, they went into extra innings. I'm not going to tell you how it finished. If you don't know yet, we'll have highlights for that. Speaking of sports, in the back half of the hour, as we're starting to ramp up our fall broadcast schedule, including high school sports, Eric Granstrom had a chance to check in with Michael Don, the head football coach of the Eastmont Wildcats, a couple of days ago on day one of fall camp. And we'll have that interview in its entirety with Eric and Michael in the back half of the program. Plus, we will have the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays and opinion from Mike Mad Dog Mignotti. 66 degrees with a few high clouds. Again, pretty nice right now. Things are going to change as we get into the day today. Let's take you around the area with our cameras, and that is the cross camera pointed, well, that way. That tower that you see there is not one of our Sky-Fi towers, or maybe it is. I don't know, quite frankly. It is one of our Sky-Fi towers. Thank you very much. So that is let me look. I'm thinking now. I've seen this view before. I believe that's the Wenatchee Valley that we're looking at from the cross camera, a little bit towards the Wenatchee side. Malcolm very quickly switches over to, I want to say, the monitor camera. That is the monitor camera. You can see the clouds are beginning to thicken up and roll in. Also going to be a little windy at times today. Right now, the wind is out of the north-northwest at 14 miles an hour, 56% relative humidity. We'd like that. Good morning to our friends in Monitor and Cashmere. A quick look to the Waterville camera. Again, clouds are beginning to make their presence known out there. Hello, Waterville. Of course, the NCW Fair is next weekend, next Wednesday through Sunday up there in Waterville. Good morning to our friends up top. And to Billy Goat. We go. In fact, while I have you real quick, I'm going to pop on the World Wide Web, which I'm on record as saying this internet thing is going to be pretty big. Right now, the air quality index in Omak is 153. That is unhealthy, just into the unhealthy scale. It's 103 in Brewster. It's in the 80s in the Medhow. Again, they're still having those fires up there in and around the Winthrop area that they've been dealing with for, over a month now. But the bigger local story is the 25-mile fire, and we'll have the latest on that when we get to the news. Okay, flash flood watch. Take a look at the map. If you live here, this is what you're looking at. If you live in the green area. For the Wenatchee Valley, it's going to really start developing after sunset tonight. It's going to start to the north and work its way down south. It's a pretty robust cold front, and it's packing some much-needed rain. But if we get those isolated thunderstorms that bring down a torrential bunch of rain in a small area of time in areas that are susceptible to flooding, watch out. You could see some flooding, some mudslides, rock slides, and of course there's a lot of burn scars all over the forests in north central Washington because of previous wildfires. There's nothing to hold the soil to the earth when there are no trees or grasses or sage to do so, and when the root system gets messed up. So that is your flash flood watch. As you can see, the farther north you go, the more susceptible you are, but we are not out of that particular woods yet anyway. So just want to let you know. From the National Weather Service, here we go. The timeline is late this morning. Late this morning is when we're going to start seeing some serious clouds come in. By this afternoon, 2 or 3, here comes the rain. Again, heavy rain is possible at times with a high today of right around 79 or 80. As far as rain today, the chance of precipitation is only 30%. It increases as the day goes on, and then the chance of rain tonight goes to 60%. So we're better than 50-50 chance of getting some significant rain. Again, you could get an isolated thunderstorm, which could bring down up to a quarter or even a half an inch of rain. We need rain. We don't need it in a big dumping a bucket. A nice, consistent, light shower for about 3 days would be just what the doctor ordered. We're not going to get that. We are going to get some rain, and it helps alleviate the very extreme drought that we're into. So rain later on this afternoon, significant rain in the overnight hours, rain right on into Saturday. By Saturday late afternoon, we're done with that. The system, by that point, will be off into the Montana area. By Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're right back to sunshine and typical late August weather. Again, the timeline for the rain here in the Wenatchee Valley, right around 2:30 is when you're going to start seeing the drops coming down, and it starts increasing in intensity. But most of the rain that they're expected, and even those occasional stray thunderstorms, which is a distinct possibility, will be in the evening hours into the overnight hours. So hopefully we'll wake up to a nice little drenching of rain come Saturday morning. All right, going to take a break at 6 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we have a sizable portion of news for you. It's an adult portion, but we don't check identification. The news is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up at Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
What you're doing is ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, you might as well throw up a screen door to block the summer smoke.
sometimes it gets
When we
warm.
breathe in the wildfire smoke, we are ingesting hazardous chemicals such as acetic acid and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. A lot of bad stuff, okay?
Well, yeah, that's why we...
Cardboard ain't gonna cut it.
So...
Go to ShelinPUD.org/save today.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, you know, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
66 degrees, a little windy. The clouds are starting to come in. It'll be mostly cloudy by noon today. By 2:30, we're starting to talk about some rain. Significant rain is a distinct possibility with even an isolated thunderstorm late this afternoon. Most of the rain will come down in the evening hours, overnight and early Saturday morning, and intermittent rain showers till about 2 or 2:30 or so on Saturday afternoon. So here comes the rain, and we need it. Our headlines at 8.5 minutes after the hour. The 25-mile fire is now estimated to be about 9,800 acres in size this morning. That's up from the 8,000-acre estimate at this time yesterday morning. The Southwest Type 1 Incident Management Team took over operations at 6 o'clock this morning, and with them comes additional resources and additional firefighting apparatuses. During last night's briefing, Ryan Nichols told the public of yesterday's suppression efforts and the plan of attack for today.
A lot of open land out here between what we're calling our containment lines and the current perimeter. During the day today, a lot of activity in the Pot Peak area. The North Fork to the south really blew up this afternoon quite a bit, kept working its way towards the west, shot up both the north portion of Pot Peak as well as the southern portion of Lone Peak, which is right in this area here. Also saw continued growth down here to the southeast portion of it, as it basically works drainage to drainage off of the main 25-mile creek, and then all these finger drainages on basically a night-to-night and day-to-day basis. It's jumping one over, continuing to progress to the southeast, and spots over to the next one over, and then continues to progress that way. So as you can see from the IR line on the map, it's getting closer and closer to our containment line. of which, we put some work in there, but it's definitely not done. Down here in the Alpha Yankee break near drop point 10, what happened is the fire started up on the Shady Pass Road off there. Initial attack basically blew up 400 acres right off the bat with down drainage winds, threatened all these homes, and by the first day that we got here was at 4,000, and that's what brought us in. So that was on Sunday. The majority of that burned down in the 25 Mile Creek Basin down at the bottom down here. It's looking really tight. There's still some work to be done. We're looking for the mop-up standards around the structures. Hopefully it's pretty quiet for you out there tonight, but like I said, there is still work to be done. As we progress.
Evacuation levels and evacuation locations have not changed in the last 24 hours, and still motorists are asked to avoid the entire area if they possibly can, so firefighting personnel and equipment can get where they need to go. Okanagan County authorities say they will not prosecute a rural Chelan woman who was arrested this week in the death of her husband. 58-year-old Celine Pulich was jailed Sunday after her 60-year-old husband David Pulich was found dead in their home on Anton Creek Road north of Chelan. Now, the case was under investigation as a negligent homicide, but Celine Pulich was freed Wednesday from the Okanagan County Jail after prosecutors announced that they will decline to prosecute pending further investigation. The court case against her was dismissed. No further details surrounding the death of David Pulich are available. East Wenatchee police are asking the public for help in identifying the suspect in a potential luring incident. The East Wenatchee Police Department said Wednesday the incident involved a female minor who was approached by a man in a large blue Suburban. Anybody with information on the vehicle or the driver is asked to contact Rivercom's non-emergency number, and that is 663-9911. 8th District Congresswoman Kim Schreier was in the Wenatchee Valley yesterday to say thanks to the firefighters for battling the Red Apple Fire, just north, of course, of the Wenatchee Valley. Schreier met with the Chelan County Fire District 1 Chief Brian Brett and Captain Cy Sousley. She also talked about fiber optic expansions with the Chelan County PUD. She met with healthcare workers at Central Washington Hospital and spoke at a lunch celebrating Link Transit's fleet of long-range electric buses and charging technology.
So the technology that we're celebrating today will, of course, help make the air cleaner to breathe here in Wenatchee Valley, but it's also going to be a model for communities all across the country as they transition to cleaner transit buses. But I also want you to think about school buses and what it will be like for our kids to be able to travel on the bus and to not be sucking in diesel fumes as we're driving to work behind those trucks. And that is a great thing. So we're already living through the early days of climate change. We're seeing larger smoky skies every year, triple-digit temperatures, not just here, but also on the other side of the Cascades, fruit that is turning to cherry raisins on the trees, and roadways that are buckling from the heat. And all of this reminds us of what is at stake and why we need to take these really bold steps.
A combined lawsuit challenging Washington's new capital gains tax, well, it came before a judge in Waterville on Wednesday. The state attorney general's office says the case should be thrown out because the law just went into effect and the plaintiffs can't show so far that they are being harmed by the tax on the sales of assets of over $250,000 in value. If the case goes forward, the state says the suit should be heard in an Olympia courtroom. Douglas County Judge Brian Huber says he's going to issue a ruling on whether the case can go forward in the next couple of weeks.
Your Honor, standing doesn't just arise because someone has to pay the tax. Paying the tax is not the only injury. We're also alleging injury from the existence of the tax, which we know is in effect now and will be operationalized in January of next year. And it includes impacts on values of assets. It includes plaintiffs having to engage in estate and tax planning, in deciding whether to acquire or dispose of taxable assets this year before the tax becomes effective next year, and so forth. In consequence, plaintiffs have sufficiently alleged facts to establish that they will suffer an injury in fact. You don't have to suffer the injury now. You have to show that it's not unreasonably speculative that you will suffer an injury in the future.
Plaintiffs have not alleged and cannot allege that they know they will pay this tax because they just cannot possibly know that at this point. That is inherently speculative, and no amount of pleading can change that. And to be clear, Your Honor, it's not as though we're asking them to wait, 10 years to litigate the constitutionality of this tax. If a plaintiff really wants to, they could sell a capital asset early in 2022, incur capital gains, pay the tax early, and file a lawsuit. Certainly, that would be sufficient to create standing under the Uniform Declaratory Judgment Act. But what's not sufficient is just to say that we own capital assets that would be subject to the tax if we sold them and if we incurred gains of beyond $250,000.
With respect to my clients who live far away from Thurston County, where an action is proposed to be transferred, that would discourage a lot of farmers, people who live in rural areas, from challenging the constitutionality of unconstitutional tax laws. And we submit that would be contrary to the interest of justice.
It is true that the town of Waterville is the highest elevation of any incorporated city or town in the state of Washington, but I have no illusions that the Douglas County Superior Court is the highest court in the land, so to speak. It is inevitable, don't you think, that this case will end up in Olympia at some point?
It may, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be allowed to start anywhere an aggrieved taxpayer questions the constitutionality of the statute.
Pangbourne Memorial Airport in East Wenatchee is going to get a $6 million infrastructure grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Representative Dan Newhouse made that announcement yesterday. The money is for reconstructing the airport's apron and apron lighting. This is according to a press release from the congressman. The grant was awarded to the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority, who of course manages and runs Pangbourne Memorial Airport. It was the largest of 3 airport grants doled out in the 4th Congressional District. The Richland Airport will get about $2.5 million. The Yakima Airport, a little over $1 million. A new brew pub is going to be coming to the Pybus Public Market. It'll be opening this fall in the space that was left vacant in 2019 when the Wenatchee Brew Pub left the market. Pybus announcing on Wednesday that Seattle-based Hellbent Brewing will open the tap room. It'll feature 20 Hellbent beers on tap, along with ciders, a full bar, wine, and craft cocktails. Pybus said the tap room will also offer sandwiches, salads, and rice bowls. Hellbent Brewing first opened in Seattle in 2015. And finally, David Beamer. He's the father of Todd Beamer, who gave his life heroically on September 11th, 2001, will be the keynote speaker in Kashmir on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Beamer will speak at the 9/11 Spirit of America Memorial Remembrance. It'll be in Riverside Park on Saturday, September 11th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 in the afternoon. Todd Beamer, of course, was aboard United Airlines Flight 93 when he and other passengers stormed the cockpit to thwart the terrorists who planned to crash the airplane into our nation's capital. The plane crashed in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. All 44 people on board died, including the 4 terrorists. And that is headlines. At 18 minutes after the hour, we'll have a newscast. It's been a busy news week. Normally, mid to late August is pretty quiet in the news department. Has not been the case this year at all. We'll have another newscast for you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Do we have Grant's promo ready to go? Unfortunately, here's Grant's promo.
Good Friday morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, David Beamer, the father of Todd Beamer, who gave his life heroically on September 11, 2001, will be the keynote speaker in Kashmir on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Showers and possibly thunderstorms in our Friday forecast. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will have the latest on the surging Mariners as well as the latest from Seahawks camp. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you, our viewers. It's all internet related, but we give you as many tools as possible in the old toolbox. You can go online to our website, ncwlife.com, get a hold of us that way. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, or you can go to our Facebook page and drop us a note via Facebook Messenger. When we come back, a crazy day or night, it was a day game, kind of think of it, in Arlington. between the Mariners and the Rangers that went into extra innings. There will be a fifth and deciding game in the West Coast League Baseball Championship. We'll have more from the Seattle Seahawks from training camp and a whole bunch more. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Are you ready to freshen up your home? Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom is filled with high-quality furniture that's always discounted to give you their best price every day. Boswell's is receiving new furniture deliveries each week, so you'll be sure to find just what you need for your home without the wait. Complimentary design assistance and free local delivery. Superior customer service and the best value for your money. Start at Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
To achieve greatness once, it's not the end of the journey. It is only the beginning. Introducing the next all-electric super truck. The revolutionary GMC Hummer EV SUV. Reserve one now while they last.
21 minutes after the hour in sports, the Mariners blew a 6-run lead. They gave up 5 runs in the 9th inning, but they still beat Texas. It took 11 innings, but they did it. The final in Arlington yesterday, 9-8. It wasn't easy, but the Mariners improved now to 10 games above 500. For the first time this season, they complete the 3-game sweep. The contest looked to be in hand early on for Seattle. They jumped right on Ranger starter Spencer Howard for 5 runs, including a 3-run bomb by Mitch Haniger.
Roped down the left field line, and this is gone into the seats. Mitch Haniger, an all-time career best 27th home run this year.
Yep, here's the changeup at 79 miles an hour, and he catches it out front. It's just a matter of whether he can keep it fair. So many times you get that far out front, you'll hook it foul, but 100 on the exit velocity, just enough, 372 feet as it goes up into the seats.
It was 7-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and that's when Anthony Mishovich and Diego Castillo apparently decided to start throwing underhand.
This ball hit hard, out to right field. That one could be trouble, and it's up against the fence. Garcia to third, they'll wave him to the plate. Here comes the throw, not in time. And Obombi is in on the Heim double. Payoff way outside. That one gets away, and here comes Lowe. He scores. And one pitch. And that ball hit well out to right field. That could be trouble. It's gone! A 3-run shot! And the Rangers have tied it in the 9th. Jason Martin's 4th home run of the year. And the Rangers do it again to the Seattle bullpen.
7-7 after 9, 7-7 after 10. To the 11th we go, and Ty France does the honors.
Smoked out to left, carrying back and gone. Home run, Air France. 11th inning lead. Mariners back in front.
And that ball was smoked. Screaming line drive into the seats. Here you go. Set up away, more middle and top of the zone, able to get to it. 400 feet. That had that sound. He knew it.
Mariner reliever Paul Seward did give up a run in the bottom of the 11th inning, but was able to hang on for the victory. After the game, when he was talking to the press, manager Scott Service basically did this. Whew.
I've said it a few times this year. It's really hard to sweep a team, and we proved it. We proved it's really hard. So obviously a lot to unravel in that game, but the key to the game, the big play in the game, obviously was the Ty France, the double play that we were able to get in the 10th inning. With Joe Smith out there, the ground ball. We don't get the conventional double play, but Ty France makes an unbelievable throw, and we get the backside double play, and then walks up to the plate and wins it with his bat. So heck of a performance by a lot of guys today, and it starts with our offense. Waiting for our offense to kind of have one of those days where it starts clicking. Obviously, we were out early in this game. had even more chances to add on to the original 6 runs. We got 7, but I got to give the Rangers credit. They hung in there. Miz wasn't as sharp as he normally is. They were on him. Diego almost got us out of it. He made one mistake, and we paid the price for it. But as I told the team after the game, the character that we show day in, day out, it's really incredible. It would have been so easy to just pull up, pack up the tents. It's not our day. We gave it up and just pack it in, and we don't do that. Credit to all of our guys, on the mound. It's a big at-bats late in the game, and we're able to get out of here to sweep and head to Houston.
The Mariners remain in the Lone Star State and got a 3-game weekend series against the Astros beginning tonight. Yusei Kikuchi will go against Lance McCullers Jr., the son of Lance McCullers Sr., I suppose. All right, to the American League West we go. Your scoreboard from last night looks something like this. Brandon Marsh's second triple of the game was a 2-run shot, plus a 2-run shot, capped a 6-run 6th inning. For the Angels, they won a slugfest in Detroit, 13-10. Tigers and the Angels combined for 30 hits on the day. Houston scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th to salvage the final game of their series against the Royals. 6-3 the final, and Matt Chapman homered twice, including a 2-run shot in the 7th. Oakland beats the White Sox 5-4 in the Windy City. Seattle still trails the A's by 3 games in the wild card race heading into their series with the American League West leading Houston Astros. The Mariners can make up some of that 5.5 games. They still trail to the Astros this weekend. By the way, my Yankees have won 7 in a row. Just throw that out there. The West Coast League Championship will come down to a third and deciding game, a very thrilling game in Corvallis last night. But the Knights defeated the Yakima Valley. The final was 2-1. Nick Vogt's 2-run base hit in the bottom of the 3rd inning proved to be the difference. The Knights ties the best of 3 series at a game apiece. Ty Uber pitched 6 innings of 1-run 3-hit ball with 3 strikeouts to earn the victory. Kenny Johnson was the tough luck loser for Yakima Valley despite striking out 9 over 5 innings. The third and deciding game tonight in Corvallis. First pitch, 6:35. A rookie in the NFL, when they're in the training camp, they got to use every edge they can if they plan on making the roster and seeing some playing time. For Seahawks wide receiver Dwayne Eskridge, that meant getting up at the crack of dawn and working out with quarterback Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so we just had a conversation. I went to him, and we were just talking about some things of how I could get better in certain areas. And then he had mentioned that he came here at, I think it said 5:50. So then ever since then, I've been here at 5:50 with him doing that.
What was your reaction to 5:50 as opposed to any other time?
I mean, it's what I got to do. So, it hurts to get up that early, but, it's worth it in the long run.
So when you're here at 5:50, what time does the alarm go off at home?
It goes off at 5:15. Yeah, 5:15.
Wilson says the learning curve for Eskridge has been eased because Eskridge is willing to put in the extra work.
Having D. Eskridge out there is huge. He's, every morning I get out here, we get out here, walk on the field around 5:45, 6 o'clock, and me and him just go through plays for 45 minutes to an hour. There's still dew on the grass, but it's good just to go through the plays and really visualize it and to go through everything mentally, to focus on it. He's a really smart player. He's physical as can be. So to see, why we drafted him, I knew why, but to be out here with him, first couple of days has been really cool to see.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow night, see how much that extra work will pay off. It's the Seahawks and the Broncos. Second game of the preseason. Kickoff at Lumen Field is at 7 o'clock, and you can watch the game on Q13 Fox or not. It's a free country. Area high schools ramping up the fall sports season, including Eastmont's football practices. They began this week. The Wildcats have become something of a powerhouse in the Columbia Basin Big Nine during Michael Don's 7 years as the head coach. He says the buy-in by his players and the East Wenatchee community has been great, but to compete statewide, they got to get more work done.
It takes a little bit more of a commitment, and it's hard when we're here. We're kind of not near anything else, and so our kids don't get to see what else is out there. They don't get to see what's available, and they have a lot less available to them. A lot of the schools on the west side, they have kids who can go to private trainers and personal trainers and work year-round, whereas here we are a high school sports community where our kids only get to play football when they're with us. And as a high school coach, that's a much more limited time frame than they get around those other things. But, you know, our kids have kind of bought into the idea that they've got to do work on their own. And, you know, we've talked about how they have to be more self-motivated than even some kids over there because they have less opportunities. And it's got to be something that they want for themselves. And, you know, I'm hoping that this is the group that really did that, and we'll find out real quick.
Don't forget Eric's entire conversation with Coach Don will air the back half of the program. Eastmont opens up their 2021 campaign on September 3rd against Central Valley. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the planned broadcast. Oh, that's the Eastmont Wildcats schedule, by the way. Take a look at that. That's a tough one. Central Valley, Gonzaga Prep, Lewis and Clark, those 3 non-league games. Those are all good teams, and they slide into league action with the Bridge of Sportsmanship game against the Panthers on September 24th. Here is our planned broadcast schedule for the month of September. Following the Eastmont Central Valley game, we're going to have Chelan and Wenatchee volleyball on September 9th. Wenatchee will host Mount Baker on September 10th. We'll follow that with coverage of Eastmont and Lewis and Clark football on the 17th. For the complete list of our fall sports schedule, go to our website, ncwlife.com. Wenatchee Valley's Super Oval going to be busy again this weekend. It's the North Valley Mechanical Shootout. The 75 takes place. The night will climax with the 75-lap main for the Jerry's Auto Supply Pro late models. Also, on Saturday night, you got the Mountain Dew Junior late models, the Plum Perfect Road Runners, the Northwest Vintage Modifieds, and the Northwest Focus Midgets. Gates open at 4:30. Race gets underway at 6. WVSO.com for tickets and more information. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday, the 20th day of August. As I did my research yesterday for the obscure holiday, nothing really jumped out at me. So I jumped ahead to tomorrow, Saturday the 21st, and that one I liked. So we're going to so now you're prepared because it's not today, it's tomorrow, and tomorrow was World Honeybee Day. Honeybees are in trouble. We know that. Hives are dying off. We need honeybees. They got to pollinate the crops. No honeybees, no apples, no cherries, no whatever. Honeybees are critical to everybody, not just here in north central Washington. Fun facts about honeybees. Humans have been keeping bees for over 4,500 years. That's pretty impressive. In the United States alone, there are about 220,000 full-time professional beekeepers. We need more. In their approximate 8-week lifespan, the average bee lives only about 8 weeks. A worker bee will fly over 1.5 times the circumference of the Earth. So in just their 2 months, they're pretty much just flying. A queen bee can lay up to 2,500 eggs a day. That's a lot. The world's oldest beverage is mead, which is a drink that's made from fermented honey. So have a big old glass of mead this morning with your breakfast. Honeybees can beat their wings approximately 200 times per second. Americans eat about a pound of honey a year. Of course, drones, after they mate with the queen, die. They die and they throw them out of the deal there. In Africa, they erect bee fences. They're not actually fences. They're strategically placed hives to keep elephants out of certain areas. Elephants and bees do not get along, and so they put up these what they call bee fences, which are actually hives designed to keep elephants away from certain areas. According to Greek mythology, Apollo was the first beekeeper. I reached out to Apollo. He was not available for comment on this. In ancient Egypt, a lot of people paid taxes with honey. Maybe we can bring that back. A worker bee, of course, dies after stinging somebody. A queen bee doesn't. A queen bee, if it stings somebody, continues to live. One beehive can collect about 65 pounds of pollen every year, and it takes a beehive 10 pounds of pollen to make 1 pound of honey. We love you, bees. Hang in there. Today in history, here's a headline from the Seattle Times from 111 years ago. 300 firefighters did not die, but communications in rural parts of eastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle were quite primitive back in 1910. This was they called it the Great Fire of 1910, and it wasn't very good at all. The scenario was really bad. In the winter, the previous winter, it was cold and snowy, and there was just a ton of snow all over eastern Washington, the Idaho Panhandle, and western Montana. And then the spring and the summer of 1910 were unbearably hot, the hottest weather anybody could ever remember. And all of those grasses and the sage just grew and grew and grew. And as the summer went on, hundreds and hundreds and eventually thousands of little bitty fires broke out all over eastern Washington and the Idaho Panhandle. And then on August 20th, 1910, hurricane-force winds, a massive cold front came blowing in with 60 to 70 mile-an-hour winds, and these 4,000 little bitty fires became one ginormous inferno. When it was all said and done, 87 people died. Almost all of them were firefighters. Entire towns were wiped off the map. And how many had to see here? 3 million acres burned. 3 million acres. 300 firefighters did not die. 87 did. And that's bad enough. The Great Fire of 1910. Happy birthday to the National Football League. It's 101 years old today. During a meeting in Canton, Ohio, on August 20th, 1920, 101 years ago today, the National Football League was formed. It was known as the American Professional Football Conference. Of the 10 original NFL teams, only 2 are still around today. The Decatur Staleys, which are now the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Cardinals, which moved to St. Louis and then eventually to Phoenix, are now the Arizona Cardinals. The American Professional Football Conference, by the way, changed their name to the National Football League 2 years later in 1922. And finally, August 20th, 1969, 52 years ago today, for the final time, all 4 members of the Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, were in the studio together working as professional musicians in a professional group. They wrapped up the recording and mixing of the John Lennon classic, I Want You. There were subsequent recording sessions, but all 4 of them were not in the same room at the same time. There were subsequent remixing sessions for both the Abbey Road album and the Let It Be album, but the 4 Beatles together in the studio would never happen again. They knew that Abbey Road was going to be their last album, and after today's date, there was very little need or even desire for the 4 Beatles to be together again in the studio to make music. That happened on this date in 1969. And finally, birthdays. We always do presidents. Happy birthday to Benjamin Harrison. Born in the state in 1833, died in 1901 at the age of 67. Historians rate him as average. We went through a whole period of average presidents, or even bad presidents, after Lincoln and before Theodore Roosevelt. It was like caretaker president, whatever. Benjamin Harrison, our last bearded president. Every president since him, he's the 23rd president of the United States. Every president since Benjamin Harrison has been clean shaven. He is the only president whose predecessor and successor was the same guy. Grover Cleveland won the election before, and then Benjamin Harrison beat Grover Cleveland, and then Grover Cleveland beat Benjamin Harrison. He served only 1 term in the White House, just 4 years, but in his 4 years, 6 states were admitted to the Union, more than any other presidential administration. North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Washington were all brought into the Union in his 4 years as president. Benjamin Harrison was the first president to have electricity installed in the White House. He was so scared of being shocked and electrocuted that they didn't turn off the lights. They just kept him on the whole time he was there, pretty much. And 3 years after Benjamin Harrison left the White House as a widow, he married his dead wife's niece. He was 62, she was 37. His 2 children from his previous marriage disapproved of Dad's new marriage, and they cut off communication with their dad. Benjamin Harrison, born in the state in 1833. Isaac Hayes. Miss Isaac Hayes. His music in the late 60s and early 70s was fantastic. We miss Isaac Hayes, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the class of 2002, passed away. It's hard to believe he's been gone for 13 years at the age of 65. Isaac Hayes, born in the state in 1942. And happy 47th birthday to Amy Adams. She has 6 Academy Award nominations. It's not won one, but if you have that many nominations, eventually they'll give you one. That's how it works nowadays. All right, going to take a break. When we come back, we have an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty. And then Eric Granstrom on the first day of fall football practice had a chance to go and visit the East Small Wildcats as they get ready for their upcoming campaign. And he had a nice conversation with head coach Michael Don. We'll have that for you when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Angie Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Succession is leading the way for a new generation of Chelan wineries. Named Platinum Winemaker of the Year in 2017 and the one to watch in 2018 by Wine Press, Succession is setting the pace. Award-winning wines are just a part of the overall experience. Add live music on Sundays and fantastic views, and you have it all. Succession Wines, located on the north shore of Lake Chelan between Chelan and Manson.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the ProMag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors. We're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Succession is leading the way for a new generation of Chelan wineries. Named Platinum Winemaker of the Year in 2017 and the one to watch in 2018 by Wine Press, Succession is setting the pace. Award-winning wines are just a part of the overall experience. Add live music on Sundays and fantastic views, and you have it all. Succession Wines, located on the north shore of Lake Chelan between Chelan and Manson.
Make being home fun again. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa has just what you need to bring fun back into your backyard. We have a wide selection of artesian spas and swim spas, new and used to choose from. We are happy to announce we are now selling Rainbow Kids play structures with 50 models to choose from. To help finish off your entertainment area, we have patio furniture and Komodo Joe grills. At Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, we have just what you need to bring family fun and entertainment to your backyard. Stop by today.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So my wife says to me, you need new clothes. There's a hole in these pants and there's stains on this shirt. Well, the hole is somewhere where no one can really see it, you know, and the stains really, unless you really look, you're not going to see them. And besides, I hate shopping, and I'm using the word hate here. So I tell myself to replace these clothes because of some minor imperfections is an environmental crime because of the unnecessary use of new resources needed to make new clothes that replace these old clothes that still have some utility. So I'm not a slob. I'm an environmentalist. Yeah. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
The 2021 Grant County Fair is happening August 17th through the 21st in Moses Lake. Check out the biggest ag-based fair in Washington State as kids show hundreds of animals. Or check out some of the more famous cuisine, such as Space Burgers or Block 40 ice cream. Friday night features country sensation Parmalee on the Brian Miller stage. Saturday, check out Grupo Control. Lots of music, food, animals, and of course, a huge carnival. Head to the website at gcfairgrounds.com. Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been providing heating and cooling services in our valley since 1984. Arctic offers a variety of refrigeration and heating services, proudly now selling Bryant Systems. Heating and air conditioning for your home or business. Commercial refrigeration service for your coolers, freezers, and prep tables. And now, full service on gas fireplaces for your home or business. Whatever it takes, Arctic Refrigeration and Heating, the temperature experts.
Lake Chelan Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer.
Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course mailboxes, even passport photos. Chelan Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.
This is Kelly, owner of the Original Children's Shop in downtown Wenatchee. We strive to bring you the most quality, fashionable, and fun clothing for your little ones, along with gifts, toys, and accessories. I look forward to meeting you soon at the Original Children's Shop.
Well, we're trying to get back to normal. And we've got football, and it's 2 weeks before school starts, so we're actually a week before school starts, 2 weeks before first game. Michael Don joining us. So obviously the first question is, summer program, how did it go?
Good. We had a lot of kids in here. We probably averaged about 96 kids a day in the weight room, so did a good job. A lot of kids in here. We got a few more out that are new to the program and just kind of miss summer because they're not quite sure what we do or how we do it. But we got 110 kids out here today, so good numbers, a lot of kids. We're really excited.
So COVID, we keep trying to put it behind us, but it's still in front of us a little bit. What is the protocol for you guys getting together here?
Right now, outdoors, we don't have to have masks on. When the kids aren't actively participating, they're supposed to maintain some social distancing, just so that we don't have as much of the close contact, so no quarantining. So we're trying to limit it to just when they're in the middle of a drill or doing a drill that they're maskless, but when then they're out of a drill, they have to put a mask, or they have to be apart from each other. And then indoors, when we're doing meetings and stuff, anything inside, we have to have a mask on.
I guess one advantage of how things worked last year is that you played not too long ago. So that should be pretty fresh for the guys that are coming back, right?
You would be amazed at how much a high school kid can forget in a few months. I am every year, and so we're always amazed at that. But it is. The guys are excited. It's a lot quicker turnaround. Normally, one of the things that's the hardest about football is you spend 9 months working for 3 months of playing, and you still only play 10 games. It's different than every other sport. In baseball, they play 100 million games in the summer. In basketball, they go pick up and they play all the time. Football is one of the last sports where you work a heck of a lot more than you play. So this year they had a lot smaller gap where they had to do all the work, and now they get it right back into play.
Well, let's talk about expectations for you. I mean, you've built this program that's successful year after year now. What are you expecting?
I expect our kids to continue to compete. We're really excited. The senior class is, they're special. They've got a lot of talent. There's a lot of kids that are 3- and 4-year starters out of this group, and we're mingling in some younger guys with them. We were exceptionally young last year. I think we only had 5 senior starters in the whole program out of 22 starters. This year we get a couple guys back who, we had some guys missed last year because of injuries or little things like that, and now we returned 17 starters off a group that got better as the year went on, and we think we have a lot of potential this year.
Well, it was about 6 months ago you were shoveling snow off of this facility to get ready to go. Obviously a lot different conditions here. As you go in and wade into the Big Nine, what are you anticipating as far as, all right, here are the teams, you look at that schedule, you go, got to be ready?
I have no clue. It's really hard to kind of gauge off what happened out of COVID. I mean, I think it's just we're all in a different boat, and we all had different, problems and things that we did well. And, we obviously saw some things early in the season where we just didn't think we did a good enough job preparing during COVID. We learned some things where maybe we have to do some things differently if we ever have to deal with something like that again where we don't have access to our kids. But we learned really quick that as soon as we get access to our kids, they're back to the same old kids. It's getting them here is easy, getting them working is easy. It's just getting to that point where we have them all the time. As far as the teams in our league, obviously Sunnyside and West Valley tied down south, and Wenatchee's put out some good teams lately, and Moses Lake has a new coach, so we'll see what happens there. We're really focused on week 1. I mean, we decided to go Murderers Row first couple weeks and probably play the 2 best teams in Spokane. We needed a challenge. We needed to see what we were capable of early on and see what we had, and we went after it for week 1 and 2, and we'll see who we are real quick.
Well, you talked about the youth movement that's been going on, and that, we talked about that for 2 seasons, how that should be beneficial for you. You talked about that senior class. I see Ivan Corona out here, and I see some of your other kids that have been coming through this program and have a lot of veteran experience now.
Yeah, we got a lot of kids with veteran experience, and it's just a lot of fun to see them kind of grow and progress and how much they've changed and gotten better. Sometimes it's not even the ones that were really good when they were young. It's the ones that progress. Like, we got Brooks Travado, who's a starting wide receiver for us, who, when he was a 9th grader, ran over 6 seconds in the 40 as a wide receiver quarterback. And, this year he broke down, went under 5 seconds and on our fully automatic timer. And, he's gotten a lot faster and better. And, if you would have said when he was a 9th grader that he'd be our starting wide receiver as a senior, he probably would have said you're crazy. But he worked real hard to get to this point. And those are the kind of things that are even more impressive.
When we were down south at Camas last time, you and I really talked about a season. Last year the whole COVID thing doesn't really count. You talked about how Eastmont can compete statewide, not just in the Valley, not just in the Big 9, but statewide, and that takes a buy-in. Yeah. Talk more about that progression as far as how you see it.
It takes a little bit more of a commitment. It's hard when, we're here, we're kind of not near anything else. And so our kids don't get to see what else is out there. They don't get to see what's available, and they have a lot less available to them. A lot of the schools on the west side, they have kids who can go to private trainers and personal trainers and work year round. Whereas here we are a high school sports community where our kids only get to play football when they're with us. And as a high school coach, that's a much more limited time frame than they get around those other things. But, our kids have kind of bought into the idea that they've got to do work on their own. And, we've talked about how they have to be more self-motivated than even some kids over there because they have less opportunities. And it's got to be something that they want for themselves. And, I'm hoping that this is the group that really did that, and we'll find out real quick.
Now, part of that, and as we saw through COVID too, was that self-motivation also has to come a little bit from a parental unit to hey, go work, go do, go this, go that. Are you getting that parental buy-in too?
I think so. We got some really great parents that help our program out a lot. Our team dinner, they do. Our parents spend a lot of time in that like team camaraderie kind of range where they help raise a lot of funds for that. And, we run our golf tournament to help pay for kids' camps so kids can't afford it and we can get the price down. And we do a lot of that kind of stuff. So our parents have done a great job here. Probably the most elaborate team dinners and banquet I've ever had in my life. If I'm in charge of the banquet, they get pizza and that's it. But, our parents get it catered and we get facilities, and they do a phenomenal job.
So I know you had programs over the summer, and you were able to get with the team and stuff. Did you guys develop your goals and develop a theme at that point, or does that happen here over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think in the summer you're just kind of seeing what you got and trying to get kids out and moving and trying to get them back into the football swing of things. And we put a bigger emphasis on the weight room in the summer. So for us, instead of expanding and doing the same amount of days we normally do in the summer, we actually kind of cut it off about where we would. We didn't get to start sports until middle of June. And normally we're already like 12 practices in by the middle of June. So instead of taking into more of our kids' summers, we said we're going to cut off before the 4th of July weekend. We did 7-on-7s on Mondays, but if a kid's on vacation, he's on vacation. And we put our emphasis from July to the middle of August. We spent more time in the weight room, getting kids back into a structured environment and not doing things on their own.
Well, best of luck this season, and we're looking forward to that first week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Michael Don joining us here on the NCW Life Channel, talking football.
Hey Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills in Manson, where we've got huge news. We've started our Blueberry U-Pick. It's a great time to toss the family in the car and get on out to Blueberry Hills, where you can get the best down-home scratch country cooking around and pick some of the world's most delicious and largest blueberries that have been high desert farmed. This makes for an intense blueberry flavor, and they are so much fun to pick. Our fields are open 8 to 2:30 daily and restaurant from 8 to 3, so come on out and join us.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu, because we work to get you to work.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
It's a very pleasant late summer morning right now. Just a few high clouds, very light wind, 68 degrees. Don't be fooled. Things are going to change as this day progresses. You'll notice the clouds thickening up, coming down mostly from the north. As this rather robust cold system comes through, it's packing some moisture, and unfortunately, there is the opportunity, or certainly the possibility, of a flash flood. Now, it's a flash flood watch that's going on. That's the middle thing. They have flash flood advisories, which is we're keeping a close eye on things. Flash flood watch, which is I think it's going to happen, and then flash flood warning, which is going to happen. So we have a flash flood watch. That's the middle tier. It starts later on this afternoon, goes all the way through Saturday afternoon, basically a 24-hour period from about 2 o'clock this afternoon to 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. It's a very slow-moving system, and it's going to bring us some rain. But the problem is we could see those isolated thunderstorms that could come down in some areas where we've had burn scars from previous wildfires. So flooding, mudslides, rock slides, a certain possibility. There are those areas that are susceptible to rock slides. US 97A on the Wenatchee, on the Chelan County side of the Columbia River, that highway. When we get quite a bit of rain, those rocks get loosened and they come down on the roadway. Any place where there's been burn scars. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of burn scars lately. So a flash flood watch goes into effect this afternoon at 2 o'clock, goes until about 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. For us here in the Wenatchee Valley, the vast majority of the rain that we're expecting, and we have a good chance of rain, is going to come down in the evening hours. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast from the National Weather Service. The clouds will begin to thicken up as the day progresses. By noon, it's going to be fairly cloudy skies. By 2 o'clock is when we start talking about rain. And again, depending on where you live, some of these storms could produce some significant rain. Also, obviously, cloudy skies. High today of about 82. Now, during the daylight hours, the chance of precipitation is about 30%. Now, that goes up to 60% tonight, with a much stronger chance of an isolated shower that could mean rainfall up to a quarter to even a half an inch of rain in some locations in our viewing area tonight. And that spills right on into Saturday morning. There's a continuing chance of rain on Saturday morning, about a 60% chance of rain till about 11 o'clock in the morning or so. And then we should be done with it by 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So we're in for some rain, significant rain in many locations. In other locations, really not as much as all. That's this whole thing about an isolated thunderstorm. It doesn't take a large geographical difference for some significant rain. You can get heavy rain in one location and just 3 or 4 miles away, not a drop. And again, this system is coming down from the north, so if you want to keep an eye on it, simply look to the north. Now, obviously, the area fires, the Cub Creek fire, the Cedar Creek fire, the 25 Mile fire, they all could use a pretty good dose of rain without lightning. And the National Weather Service says, even though there are thunderstorms in the forecast, they don't think there's going to be any lightning associated with the thunderstorms. That is good news. All right, that's it for us. Have yourself a good and safe weekend. We will see you Monday. Stay dry. Let's hope it rains. Take care. Bye-bye.